Keep this shit up. Also, look up tutorials on making your mic audio a bit clearer. The content and idea is great, but you absolutely need better audio.
I am no longer PP. I am Dick. Is this what you wanted? A brand new, higher quality experience?
I've been having this microphone actually. I have been having it for quite a while now. My least favorite thing about it is the fact that I have to hunch over in order to talk into the microphone. But yep, this is the real P-pun. This is me, not the higher pitch microphone little PP that you know. Now, on to the episode. Released as a sequel called Mother 2 in Japan, Earthbound was a very successful RPG. Well, not according to Nintendo in American releases, but despite that, it was well received. You might recognize him, our main character, from the rosters of Super Smash Bros. Well, this is his own game. NES, or really his common name, Ness. Yeah, this game is not really subtle about it. It's not really subtle about anything, I'll be honest. In this case, this RPG is probably the most unique, mostly because it's catered to kids. Well, this game is bonkers, and I mean it in a good and crazy way. But let's not get into that just yet. What is the prologue or the plot for Earthbound? Well, in the beginning, Ness and Pokey were visited by Buzz, an alien. And he has come to Earth to warn Ness and friends about a malevolent creature named Giygas. For those who don't know, Giygas played a main part of every child's nightmares when they have played through the game, and for reasons I'll touch upon later. Just a quick build up before we even jump right into the nightmare. This game is kind of f***ed up. You don't believe me? How about a bunch of police officers ambushing a child? Call it police brutality. Maybe even a meditation where an apparition takes apart your limbs. Maybe even the Blue Bucks band. Or prostitutes. Yeah, this game is not playing around with children. But all of that is completely tame compared to Giygas. Obvious spoilers ahead because we are going to completely fast forward up until the end of the game. So, if you want to just experience all of that quirkiness, go ahead and play it for yourself. I'll be here all day. In order to defeat Giygas, Ness and friends must travel back to the past using the Phase Distorter 3. This can only travel with inanimate objects, so they would have to transport their souls into these robots. The Cave of the Past is probably the most terrifying environment to be in, at least for this long. This is nothing compared to going into his lair. By the way, this isn't my own playthrough. Okay, what the shit is this? Basically, Ness is walking on what looks to be organic tubes. And trust me when I say that it's going to get much more uncomfortable. Making your way towards the machine, you are presented with what is called the Devil's Machine. I won't even tell you what it looks like just yet. We're saving that for later. But even for a strange game, this is definitely out of place. You are then greeted by Pokey, somebody who betrays you during the game. It's not known why he's working with Giygas, but he is, and he's against you, personally. He has his evil monologue, and you both get into a fight. Alright, nothing bad so far. Honestly, it's a tame fight. But then midway through, shit gets metal. Damn, Pokey, you literally mean business. And that's the song's name, too. I think, personally, somebody deserves that raise for making such a great track. Ness and friends fight Pokey and Giygas' machine. After a couple of turns, Pokey has enough and has decided to turn off the machine. This is what unfolds. Pokey reveals that this is his vulnerable state, calling him an almighty idiot. First of all, what in the actual 7 circles am I looking at right now? This is definitely the entire and cherry on top of the hellish sundae. And it gets worse, trust me, it gets way worse than this. The more you fight this dude, the more crazy he becomes. I'm super glad I was not playing this as a kid. I'd be terrified to fight an entire background, let alone committing an exorcism. And I'm not even joking either. The only way to defeat Giygas is to literally pray and have other characters from the present pray for you. Is this unholy or what? Oh, but that still doesn't end there. Oh no, it gets worse again. For some reason, Giygas gets batshit insane and becomes an abomination of wallpapers. This red abyss is genuinely twisted. In an 8-bit game for kids, by the way. Shigesato Itoi did a great job at designing a terrifying enemy, saying that Giygas is something that you really can't make sense of at all. Shigesato Itoi shares a personal story and a possible inspiration for Giygas. At least it's actually confirmed. As a kid, he accidentally walked into the wrong theater watching a controversial movie called The Military Policeman and the Dismembered Beauty. Itoi recalls a scene with a woman being strangled by her fiancé during intercourse, then was cut up to pieces to be hidden. Itoi had a more graphic memory, but despite that, it stuck with him for so long. This explains the pure malice, confusion, and dread that Itoi has implemented into this boss. He was so traumatized he could not talk to his parents about it for a week or more. Besides all that, this is why Giygas is completely a mess. Giygas, for its time, is a complete definition of evil. This story also spawns in a theory amongst fans. The theory that Giygas is actually a fetus. The machine resembles a woman's uterus. Not just that, but you are traveling back into Giygas' most vulnerable form. And last but not least, if you look closer to the sprites in one of the phases, you can easily see the shape of an ultrasound fetus. Wow. Now, Itoi did debunk this theory, but he does find it quite interesting. There's also other traumatizing memories that Itoi recalls, which does explain the dialogue of Giygas, saying it hurts or I feel good. There's also a theory that Giygas is Geeg from Mother 1. I won't get into that theory because, personally, I find it hard to believe no matter how much I look at it, even though there is a complete nod intentionally. Honestly, I don't really mind that Giygas has no origin or anything to explain itself. No matter what theory it is, no matter how you look at Giygas, he is widely considered to be the most terrifying villain in gaming history. And I believe he'll forever be that way. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up tonight. There's not really anything new I can say about Giygas. He is self-explanatory. This unholy boss is honestly very fitting as the 6th episode of Video Game Venom. I must take my leave, because I am not willing to sit around and look at this boss any further. So, if you enjoyed this episode, I thank you very much for watching this far. My name is P-Pun, and you have just watched Video Game Venom, Episode 6. Have a good night, everyone. At least try to.